how do you use our pool? Can you do a better job by knowing some numbers? Alright, so this is an assignment and shared knowledge, but in the end it's an assignment for the coaches of the Dolphin, and those include Daisy, Mariska, Filippo, Daphne, Kendrick, Nikki, Cecile and Hyman. And those last two, well, you don't have to do the assignment, just if you see some fun of it in that, just feel free to do that. You cannot give wrong answers in this case. It is just after this little sort of course, seeing how quick you are in picking this type of stuff up and then maybe producing something. Alright, let's proceed. This is our pool. Great. So we have two 1 meter boards and two 3 meter boards on one side, and we have a high board 3, 5, 7 and 10 on the other side. Well, you already knew that, so there's no question in the assignment about this. But if you train on 1 meter board, now it's getting interesting, and you take just one diver, then it takes about 20 seconds for this diver to complete the dive. You know, standing there on the board, completing the dive and just getting back to the pool side. That's about 20 seconds. And if he hurries, then within 1 minute he can do another dive. That means that with 20 seconds per dive, you could have three divers on the board, and they can train in the highest possible tempo that they can do. Actually, if they do for an hour long a dive per minute, they get quite tired. It's hard to do that. So 3 divers on the board, 20 seconds per dive is 180 dives in an hour. Okay, and that means one diver does do 60 dives in 1 hour. Great knowledge. Now you know that. Well, if we give the divers a little bit more time, let's say we give them 1 minute and 40 seconds, then I can fit in 5 divers on 1 meter board without losing time. Okay, I have to press them to do a dive every 20 seconds, because if they slow down, then of course it will not be enough to perform the 180 dives per hour. And remember, if you divide 180 by 5, you get 36 dives per hour, not the 60 that you were delivered in the previous slide. So this is about, in 1 hour you can, with 5 divers, you can do their 10 dives program, let's say H group A, 10 to 11 dives 3 times. That's a classic list and classic training method. Alright, great. So how is this on 3 meter board? Well, on a 3 meter board, because it's higher, so you have to climb a ladder, and yeah, you're diving in, you keeping your breath a little longer because you're going deeper. It takes a little bit longer to get to the pool side and get out again. So it takes one diver about 2 minutes to perform a dive and then do the next dive. The dive itself takes about 30 seconds. Now, okay, standing on the board, getting out of the way for the next diver. Maybe 25 seconds, could be a little bit faster, but let's say 30 seconds. So that means that you can fit on 4 divers on the board without a problem, and they will perform 120 dives per hour, which is about 40 dives per diver per hour. Alright, but this is quite a high tempo. So these 4 divers after an hour, they will actually might be a little bit tired. So let's fit in more divers and see what happens. Let's give the divers 3 minutes. With 3 minutes we can fit in 2 extra divers. We're still making 120 dives per hour, but now the number of dives per diver is 20 dives per hour. That's not much. Not if you say, hey, let's do the program 3 times. So you have a 10 dives program. You want to complete it 3 times. Then you need 1.5 hours. Alright. So normally situation, you will have a 1 and a 3 meter board. Great. So if we put 5 divers, or actually it doesn't matter, if we put 3 divers on 1 meter board or 5 divers and same numbers, they can still only perform 180 plus 120 is 300 dives per hour. So if they work their top speed, you as a coach will see 300 dives in 1 hour. Okay, if you see 300 dives in 1 hour, that's 5 dives in a minute. That's every 12 seconds a dive. So if it's 12 seconds per dive and you know that it takes about 7 to 9 seconds to complete the dive, so actually the things that you want to see is start the approach until they are underwater. That takes about per dive 7 to 9 seconds. So that leaves you with 3 seconds within the dive. Or actually, the next dive will be there in 12 seconds. It's the other board maybe, but it's 12 seconds. So it leaves you to 3 to 5 seconds to give your instruction. That's not much. That's something like, you went over, next. Oh, you split your legs, next. That's about what you do if you have that little time. So, I'm afraid that you have to accept that you can't see everything, because if you don't have to see everything, then you have more time left for instructions. And also, you should not allow divers to wait for you, because if you take your time for instructions and they wait, the dive numbers will drop. They will not perform 120 dives an hour, they will perform 80 dives an hour. If that's 5 divers, then they all miss 7, 8 dives. Something like that. Okay. But you do need to take the time to instruct your divers, because a complete instruction will give a difference in the next try. So if the first dive is a front dive pike, and it should be performed with arms to the side when they come out, then and they don't do it, so then you instruct them again, and you instruct them properly. You say when to do it and how to do it, and that the arms should be straight, and then they do the next try. You have maybe missed 2 or 3 dives, but they might actually now be able to transform that instruction to a change in their dive. That's what we want to see. If a diver doesn't do that, don't repeat the same words over and over again. So don't use the exact same words, use different words. Or maybe don't say anything again. Maybe he needs 3 or 4 tries before he can figure out what to do. Don't repeat the same words, it takes too much time. Just spend your time on somebody else. Right, repeating. Accept that you can't see everything. Don't allow divers to wait for you. Take time to instruct the diver if it needs it. And do not repeat the same words over and over again. Right. So here's the high board. We've got the same type of problems over here. The high board is like 2 boards over each other, like the 5 and the 10 meters and the 3 and the 7 meters. So now you think I'm going to tell the same story again? I'm not. You are. This is your assignment. Try to figure out how the last story, how the information would relate to platform and high board diving on the other side of the pool. And consider the following. Think about how many dives that you can do in an hour on high board. And should it be the same on every platform? How many divers should you use for that? Can you organize it in a way that it still stays safe, but still complete as much dives as possible? And maybe should a diving session have 2 groups on the platform, and therefore 2 coaches? And how would that work together? Well, give me your thoughts, write them down by pen, print them, scan them, send them. You can use WhatsApp or you can use my email, they're below here. Just make sure that I get them. Let's say take a week for this, okay? So, and the whole assignment itself should only take an hour. That should be plenty. I'm not asking you to write a book. I'm just want to know about your thoughts. If you want to discuss this with the other coaches, feel free, but still try to work it out by yourself. Write something down that is you, so I can see what you know, how you would approach it, and how we maybe can come to a different conclusion later, if that is needed. Okay, thanks for watching. See you next time.